In the dark, cold depths of the Norwegian fjords lies a village shrouded in mystery. Legend has it that something wicked stirs in these waters, preying on the souls of those who dare to sail too close. Some say it's the ghost of a murderous sea captain, while others claim it's the spirit of a drowned girl who lures unsuspecting sailors to their doom. But perhaps the most terrifying tale of all is that of a mysterious church that burns with an otherworldly fire, a place where the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. Welcome to Fantoft Church. If you thought all of the world's scariest places were in the United States, think again. For this story takes us to the dark side of one of Europe's most beautiful countries, Norway. The source of our story is the small village of Fantoft, which sits just outside the city of Bergen, the second largest in Norway. It's quite the picturesque spot. Just imagine traditional wooden houses, snow-covered mountains in the distance, and the eerie calm of an ancient church from the 12th century. But do not let its age or beauty fool you, because this church has a secret that will make your blood run cold. This is Fantoft Church. Its origins can be traced back to the 1100s when it was first mentioned in historical records. Like many Norwegian churches, it was built in the middle of a burial ground. Over the years, it became the center of the village, a place for worship, a place for solace, and sadly, a place for unspeakable horrors. For centuries, it stood as a silent witness to the lives and deaths of the villagers. But in 1992, everything changed. On the night of May 14, 1992, a fire broke out in the church. Flames engulfed the old wooden structure, and by the next morning, nothing but ashes remained. The loss was devastating, not just for the villagers but for all Norwegians. Here was a part of their history turned to dust. What's even more eerie is that this wasn't an isolated incident. Since 1992, over 100 historic churches have mysteriously burned down in Norway, leaving many to wonder if they were cursed. So what could this curse possibly be, and how did it affect Fantoft? As you might have noticed, the history of Norway is pretty intertwined with the sea. They were literally the Vikings, for crying out loud. So it's no surprise that many of their legends involve the ocean, and Fantoft Church is no exception. One of the most popular tales associated with the church is that of the White Lady, a mysterious figure who appears on the shore near the church in the winter solstice. She's always dressed in white and seems to emerge from the mist, beckoning people to follow her. Some say she's the ghost of a young woman who died on her wedding day, waiting for her beloved who never returned from sea. Others believe she's a witch who lures unsuspecting travelers into the water. Whatever the truth, many who have seen her claim she disappears before anyone can get too close. This legend adds a layer of mystery to the already haunting site of Fantoft Church. But the real horror story began after the fire. As the villagers tried to rebuild their church, strange things started happening. Workers reported seeing shadowy figures at the construction site at night. Tools would go missing only to be found later in strange places. And sometimes they would swear they heard the sound of hammers and saws, as if the church was being rebuilt by unseen hands. Some believe these were the ghosts of those buried in the churchyard, angry that their final resting place had been disturbed. Others say they were the spirits of the damned, using the chaos to escape their eternal torment. These stories, passed down through generations, turned Fantoft Church into a place of fear. With every passing year, more and more people began avoiding the area, believing it to be cursed. But the strangest part was yet to come. A few months after the fire, a local resident was clearing debris from their yard when they stumbled upon something shocking. Buried under the rubble was a human skull. What made this discovery even more disturbing was that the skull seemed strangely modern, as if it had come from someone who had lived only recently. This led to speculation that the church's graveyard may have been used for more than just burials. Perhaps there were secrets buried there, secrets best left undisturbed. Could this be the reason behind the curse? While such tales add a chilling twist to the church's history, it's important to separate fact from fiction. There's no concrete evidence to support these supernatural claims. After all, every story needs a villain, and in this case, the church's proximity to a burial ground makes it the perfect candidate. Imagine the fear that would grip people back then, a time when medical knowledge was limited and death was a constant companion. When the plague struck, killing almost half of Europe's population, the fear of the dead rising was very real. It's no wonder that legends like these took root and spread like wildfire, but there might be a more rational explanation for the strange occurrences. Perhaps it was a series of unfortunate events rather than the wrath of the dead. After all, who would intentionally harm a church? Yet, as darkness fell on Fantoft, suspicion grew. Some began pointing fingers at the church's former vicar, a man respected by many, but rumored to have had a shady past. His sudden resignation and disappearance only fueled these rumors. People whispered that he had desecrated graves for personal gain, a grave sin both in life and death. Could this be the reason for the curse? Did he awaken something he couldn't control? It's a tale as old as time. Good versus evil, faith versus fear. The truth is, we may never know what truly happened. The vicar's whereabouts are still unknown and the church remains a charred skeleton. But the impact of this story goes beyond Fantoft. It reflects a larger societal fear. the fear of the unknown. In a world where change is constant and uncertainty looms around every corner, it's easy to grasp onto superstitions as a way to find some semblance of control. The curse of Fantoft Church serves as a reminder of just how powerful the human mind can be, capable of weaving tales so intricate they blur the line between reality and nightmare. As we reflect on this chilling story, let's take a moment to appreciate the power of storytelling. These aren't just spooky tales to be told around a campfire. They're reflections of our deepest fears and societal anxieties. And in sharing these stories, we connect with others who may have experienced similar fears or who simply appreciate a good scare. The legend of the Fantoft Church reminds us that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we create in our minds. So if you ever find yourself in Norway, do try to visit this haunted church. And if you want to hear more scary stories from around the world, don't forget to stay tuned. Until then, happy haunting, and remember, the scariest stories are often closer to home than we think.